Welcome back to FryMinis. I'm Eric, and today we are talking about WizKids D&D Onslaught board game. This is a skirmish kind of tabletop game. It's not like a alternative to D&D. It's a mini 1v1 game that's actually a lot of fun. So thank you, as always, to WizKids for sending this over. I of course, I super appreciate that. And I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit. Unless you're sitting under a rock yourself, there's been a lot of drama in the D&D community with the OGL, and I'm completely in line with the community. This has sapped my energy to do videos about anything related to D&D right now. It's such a weird situation that we're in. I'm right there with you. I totally feel no company is really your friend, right? But I think a lot of people, we've wanted to look at Wizards of the Coast as our friend. And when this is about as much of a betrayal as you can get, when that happens, it hurts. It really hurts. And coming to terms with that has been a challenge. And I think I know a lot of my fellow content creators are in that same bucket. So I appreciate your patience with this review, and I look forward to seeing how the channel continues to evolve in light of this. But I think we're probably going to be pretty heavy on our minis focus, more so than our D&D focus. Okay, so here we go. Onslaught. So I am not a board game person. I played D&D, but I've played Monopoly, Scrabble, things like that. But I know a lot of people are like super into board games, and they play a lot of board games, and WizKids makes a lot of board games, but that's never been my jam, really. So when we got this, of course, at first I figured we would just do a bunch of reviews on the minis, because they're full quality pre-painted WizKids minis in here, and they look good. I'm happy with them. We'll probably do a live stream or something reviewing those later. But the game itself, it's got a pretty high, at least to my understanding, as a newbie to board games. Maybe there are standards that I don't know, but it took us a while to really understand how to play it and really get the flow going. It took us a couple of games. We played it, but once we had the general system and how a game proceeds and actually plays, we had a lot of fun. We played multiple games over back during Christmas, but it's a lot of fun. You've got a lot of maneuverability. You've got a lot of differences between the heroes, and we'll go into a little bit of what all that means here in a minute. But it's got a good amount of replayability. There are expansions, so you can have new heroes to come through. There are tons of scenarios to play through. A bunch of them are included here, and then you get free ones online. And I mean, you could maybe make up your own. I don't even know. The production quality is really great. I did have a couple of problems with some of my character roller cards that I'll show you here in a second too. But nothing dramatic. The minis were not super bent. We were generally in good shape. I was really happy with this. This totally feels like a premium product. And it should. I mean, this game is $140, and then the add-ons for extra factions for more character options. When you buy those minis, those cost a lot too. So it should feel premium, and it does. The general point of the game is to move your minis around the map, collecting treasure to get victory points, defeating monsters to get victory points, and killing the other players' characters. If you happen to kill the whole other team, you win. Congrats. Otherwise, it's whoever has the most victory points at the end. The characters have different abilities. Some can heal, some are ranged, some are melee focused, and all of these have classes. So the barbarian type of character has abilities similar to a D&D 5e barbarian. The cleric, same thing. You're looking at like Sacred Flame and Cure Wounds, stuff like that. Each of the characters have a kind of like a character sheet card with rolling dials so you can track cooldowns. Let me walk you through one of those real quick. This is Mistral the cleric. You can see she can take a mace attack as a standard action. It targets one enemy at a range of 1, so right next to her. She's got +4 to hit, and you roll a d20 to determine your hit. And if it hits, it does 2 damage. She also has Sacred Flame as a standard action, which is a magical attack. Targets one enemy at range of 2 to 3, so it can't be right next to her, but it can be 2 to 3 squares away from her. It's got +5 to hit, and if it hits, it does 1 damage. And then critical, you can see critical. So if your attack is a crit, if you roll a 20, it does an extra damage. And after the attack, you may exchange places with the target. So swap spots. Down here, you've got our XP tracker. So once you hit 5 XP, you level up. Whenever you successfully hit an enemy with an attack, you automatically gain 1 XP. But then each character has a special way to gain XP. So Mistral's special way is she gains an XP after you heal a target to its maximum health. I did find that those extra XP bonuses vary dramatically between characters on how often you can actually acquire them. Some are pretty simple, like killing an enemy creature, so that can be a player or a monster, which there are lots of. Here, you're limited to when you heal something to a full, which isn't going to happen a lot. And that cooldown has a 5-turn cooldown, so you're not going to get that bonus a lot here. Once or twice, maybe, if you're lucky. Okay, so at the bottom, we've got 2 special abilities. Each of these have a cooldown. So Cure Wounds, it takes a standard action. It's magical, and it has a cooldown of 5 turns, which is a lot. It targets one friendly creature at a range of 0 to 5, so you can target yourself or up to 5 squares away, and you heal for 5 hit points. So Pass Without Trace, this one's special. This is a bonus action. It is a bonus action, it is magical, and it also has a 5-turn cooldown. This, you can make a 3-square teleport. So you can teleport without risking opportunity attacks or other similar features. You can just pop from one spot to another. And on the right, we have her reaction, Invoke Duplicity. It's magical and has a 3-turn cooldown. After you are hit by an attack, reduce the attack's damage by 2. Not every character has opportunity attacks like in D&D 5e. Some of the characters do have just opportunity attack as a regular reaction, but that's okay, because in that game that's very good here. You're not going to be making a lot of attacks. But generally, each character has a special reaction. And I mean, this one's pretty good. And up here in the top right, we have our main character tracker. So we have how many hit points we have on the right, in the middle, what our AC is, and how many squares we can move on our turn on the left there. So I think those are pretty cool. It's a nice, easy, self-contained way to track your character without needing pen and paper. Now, I did have some of the cards, when I opened the box, the dials had like gotten loose and fallen out, and mostly I was able to fix those by you just snap the 2 plastic black top and bottom, kind of like a rivet. You just snap those together. But I can't find some of the wheels for the Tabaxi in particular. So I don't know. That's just bad shipping luck. Stuff like that can happen to any product. So you'll have treasure chests on the board, and you can open those and you can have all sorts of fun surprises. Like maybe it's a goblin that has 3 magic items on it that you have to run around and chase. and that's actually a lot of fun. It reminded me of Diablo, actually. When you level up, you get to get a class ability thing that's special per character, and they can be very strong. So there are some times in this game where you have advantage or disadvantage, basically. And for Mistral, she has this one. It's Mirror Image. When resolving a melee attack against you that uses multiple dice, use the lowest die result when applying that roll to you. So that's great. So somebody might have advantage on you, so they're rolling 2 d20s, but you're, in fact, they have to take disadvantage. It's just non-stop. It's not like a one-time use or anything. It's great. So that's the passive option, but she also gets an active option that she can choose instead. You heal for 2, and you gain the ability Blessing of the Trickster. It's magical, and she can use it 1 time. After a character or monster at range 0 through 5 rolls dice, you may choose one of those dice and re-roll it. So that's great. I can turn a hit into a miss, and because your AC and your attack damage boosts aren't changing a lot in this game, it's a lot easier to miss in this game than a tabletop RPG D&D 5e type of thing. And we did play a couple times when we weren't sure exactly how the rules worked, and throughout the process I think we managed to level up more than twice. So then I'm not sure what we're supposed to do there, or if we were doing something wrong, which we probably were, because again, and it might be my small brain, but these rules took us a while to get used to. I would love to see more than 2 options per character. I'd love for that to be an expansion, or at least an online, maybe print out kind of thing. I don't know, booster packs. So something like that would be nice. I will say though that our favorite character quickly became Bedlam, the warlock. You got Eldritch Blast and it's like a hex blade, which you throw the curse thing, which is like hex on there, and you're doing a lot of damage. And then the special abilities it gets are wild. Both are passive. One, you gain +3 AC, and then the other one, anytime you defeat an enemy, you heal for 2. So Bedlam will always be an S tier pick for me. Remember Mistral, you get that bonus XP when you heal somebody to full, but your only ability that heals somebody to full, it's a 5-turn cooldown. And I said that you're not using that a lot. This, gain an XP at the end of your turn, your activation, which is your turn. Like how is that? I don't understand how that's like balanced. One thing that you can at best use once every 5 turns, and then the other one you're using every turn. Now, if it was like you gain 5 XP when you heal somebody to full, that obviously that averages out. I'm okay with that. But no, Bedlam is bonkers. It's a lot. You manage initiative with these cards. It tells you when monsters come in. And it's pretty straightforward. Some of the monster cards are pretty cool. You take turns running the monsters, and it's one of those things. You're in good faith of each other that you're gonna play these in a way that makes sense for the monster. But they tell you generally like what they do, and the base is that the monster attacks the nearest creature, the nearest character. So it's pretty straightforward. You don't need to worry about a DM getting involved or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. And on the back of those, you've got reminders of what you can do on your turn, your standard action, your move action, your bonus action, and any number of free actions. Could this be a thing that people play at conventions? Totally. But the fact that it's only 1-on-1 right now kind of limits that, I think, a lot to me. Games run maybe an hour and a half, somewhere around there. You could probably go longer if you're slower, especially when you're learning. Definitely plan on the games taking longer as you're learning the rules. I would love to see an expansion where you can have rules to have more than one player. Like my main D&D group, it's 4 of us, and I would love to play this with them and have this kind of be like alternative scenario or something. Try to find some way to work that in, or even just have it as a board game night. But that it's 1-on-1 doesn't really make that feasible right now, and the games are too long to have like a tournament. So if games are running 30 minutes or whatever, that's fine. 30 minutes, other people can sit there and figure stuff out and keep themselves busy. But an hour and a half, I think, is too much. Now, one thing that I would really like to see here is I would love to play this online. If this was a game, like an actual video game that I could log on by myself and get randomly matched against somebody else somewhere in the world and play, like, that would be super fun. If there was a digital version of this, that would be great, because you don't have like a dungeon master with this. You're just kind of taking turns controlling monsters and things. I would love to see that. I would play that game all the time. I think that could be a lot of fun. So I like the quality. I like the general rules after you get used to them. I like the different hero options. I think those are great. The characters you can play as. I think this is a good game, but if we're being realistic here, I really, even though this isn't playing D&D, I think it might be a little impacted by the OGL stuff. I mean, obviously, like, the OGL news is global news now. It's mainstream news. It's not just us little nerds talking about it. And I think that might have an impact on who's buying this game. And I think that might hamper sales and then the success of this game. So again, just Wizards of the Coast, just absolutely just making such a bad move. I'm thinking about maybe running a couple games of this as live streams. I think we could get away with that. I don't think we'll ever be full actual play D&D live stream people, but I could see streaming a game or two of this. I think that could be fun. If you think that sounds cool, let me know in the comments, of course. And if you plan to pick this up, let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback on this game, especially with the unfortunate timing of it. I feel bad for WizKids on this, I really do. But I think they've got a good product here that, again, thanks for sending it over, WizKids. All right, y'all. We'll have some more videos out. We're not going away, but it's tough to get motivated to make D&D videos right now. Thanks.